Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. The film industry uncensored. This week's guest.
I have two guests, and you might recognize them because they have been on the show before. We got Victoria doing special effects makeup live, and we got Marlon, our model.
We're not going to worry about the back today, but normally if you're doing this for film, you would also slick the back down, make sure the bald cap sits nicely. So I'm going to have you take your first two fingers,
What is this?
put them a little closer, and we're going to get the front of the bald cap like that. Yeah, and just keep that right in front of your forehead. And then we will
Wow.
put
Look
this
at that
bad
skin
boy
color
on.
match. Fun fact, that was my first time ever purchasing a bald cap. I was nervous. Hey, can I my
Looking
bald cap?
sharp.
It actually does match pretty well.
Oh my god, yeah. Dude, this is
a good size too.
Maybe in
They don't
30
make them bigger,
years.
so if it didn't fit, we would have been screwed. What would you do in a situation if the bald cap didn't fit?
If it doesn't fit, so normally you want to keep some extra bald caps with you in case one rips or, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So you could always take one of those and kind of cut and paste that where you need to.
Nice.
Yeah, just kind of patch it in. You don't want to have to do that.
Yeah.
So I think it's best to just make them yourself.
Which is crazy. I didn't even, well, obviously somebody's making the bald caps, right? But I was like, how do you make your own bald cap? With latex,
that's
right?
The really cool part is it's the most simple thing ever. You just need to kind of get the right technique down, and once you have it, you're good to go. You get this little it's called a red head. It's a little head form.
Yeah.
It's kind of just shaped like your noggin.
Yeah.
And you take balloon latex specifically, or
That makes
it'll
sense.
be called bald cap latex, and you can go around and stipple it in the shape of a head. And you do layer after layer, powdering in between
Okay.
until it gets to the right thickness.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And
you
you want
just
it to be
powder
like-
it off the head.
Like a little, not too thin, but like thin enough where it would like kind of like
Yeah, you
blend in.
want it to have like a little opacity to it.
Yeah. And what are you doing right now?
Now we're going to start gluing this on, and then we're going to cut it to shape. He's an Eggman.
He's an Eggman.
It's always good to know what you look like, bald.
Yeah.
Put on a little glue. Wait until it gets.
How long does it
heavy.
take for the glue to dry? Like usually, like how long does this process even take?
It depends on the size of the prosthetic.
Mhm.
So, if I was doing the whole neck piece for this as well, you could make it take up to like 5 hours.
Damn.
You normally don't get that much.
Viewers
time.
are like, excuse me.
We're not doing the whole neck piece, so that cuts off like at least half the time.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Which is nice. Which we could have done, but I thought about it. So you just seal it with this stuff called Prozzie. I buy this one. This one's Prozzie No Tack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sponsored though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you
this
do
is
want to sponsor us.
store brand.
From Nigel's, which was my first
From
time ever
Nigel's.
going there. I don't know if people know
I
this
like
store. I'm sure if
Nigel's.
you're in the beauty or special effects world, you know about Nigel's
Beauty Emporium.
Emporium. Sorry. It's basically like a giant store filled with everything you can think of, like products, makeup, body jewels, like bald caps, everything. And it was crazy because I showed up there and I was like,
Forward?
"Can I get a bald cap?"
Back up.
And they're like,
Like
"Yeah,
just
follow
normal?
me."
Yeah.
To the
Okay.
back, and I'm like following the cashier to the very
Okay.
back, going through
Yeah,
all the
feels fine.
aisles.
Feels like I have a
She
latex
enters a
suit to my
secret
head.
other door, and it's like all this special effects stuff, and there's like bald caps on the side. It was like in another room though, so like you go to the store, and then you leave the store and enter like another little building, and then it was there, and I was like, huh, I didn't know this was here. Sometimes people have to, like actors have to sit in the makeup chair for hours,
Right.
like for Grinch, he spent like over 1,000 hours.
Or
in
like
And he literally tortured the makeup artist, so don't torture Victoria. He's like, I hate this.
like I know
He made her cry
I'm
like
sure
every
we got
time.
sick of. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
for like Avengers and stuff, like Paul Bettany, I think his name is, the guy who plays Vision.
Yeah.
Because he's like all red and stuff.
all red, yeah.
Yeah, they had to. Apparently, it was like 5 hours or 6 hours every time that there was a scene with him, of makeup.
Honestly, like, that's dedication. Ooh, and now we're getting the trim. She cuts your hair off. No, just kidding.
He's like nervous now.
No,
Yeah,
you're good.
Victoria's like, all right, for the next step, we're shaving off.
Yeah.
This
It
is
almost
your
looks like a
ASMR
bald
noise.
mullet. Yeah.
A what? It looks like a
It
what?
looks like a mullet almost.
But bald?
Yeah, like, because it, like, hangs.
This could be me at 20.
In a year.
Yeah, aging kicks in.
Yeah, you just jokingly shave your hair one year, and then the same year you happen to go bald, so you lost your last year of hair.
That'd be so tragic.
Normally you would go in and
Yeah.
you would trim all around it. You would go through and you would glue it down so it's super seamless.
Yeah.
And then since it's latex with a plastic bald cap, you can go in with alcohol or acetone depending on what you purchase.
Yeah.
And you can blend the edges and melt that into the skin.
Oh, that's
With
how they do it. So you
latex.
can't tell.
Yeah, and then it's just
I
seamless.
see.
Latex, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So you would choose some type of filler, like Prozzie cream, and it's the same stuff as the glue. If I can open it, because it's glue,
Holes
so
for-
you can glue your jar shut. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Does that happen? Glue in the jar.
Oh yeah. Oh,
All
yeah.
the time.
All the time. I know. I'm supposed to be kind of wiping the edges so that doesn't
I would
happen.
do the
I should
same.
get
I
better
just
with
close
that.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, because it dries quickly, so you
Yeah.
want to close it quick, so you forget. Whatever. But it's just a thickened version of that glue. You grab like a little bit and just kind of like butter the edge and fill the gap.
Oh,
and
wow. That's
Yeah.
actually really cool. Yeah. That's
Close
awesome.
that ledge for you.
That's awesome.
But since we're applying this guy,
Mm-hmm.
it covers all those edges.
Yeah. So you don't
so
really
there's
have to
no
worry
need
about
to
it.
do any of that.
Yeah.
So I'll probably map where it ends and then just work on the edges that will be seen.
Has anyone ever given you, like, has anyone been like, this is so itchy, I can't put it, or like, have you had any issues with applying this kind of thing?
With the monster makeup, no, actually, I feel like people accept it.
Yeah.
Happening.
How long do they usually give you on set to do this? Like, is it really like, okay, like, you need 3 hours, you're gonna get the 3 hours, even with special effects makeup? Because, you know, in regular makeup, they always rush you. They're like, you have an hour, and then it's like 30 minutes, and it's like 15 minutes.
Yeah, they still do that. They still do that, and it makes me mad. I'm like, well, you only get half a monster then.
Yeah, so, like, you still have to work with that time constraint. Like, they don't really work around you on set in that situation.
Yeah,
Which they should.
Which I try to anticipate it, you know, when we're meeting beforehand and tell them, hey,
Yeah.
this takes X amount of time, I'll buffer it and I'll add on an hour
Yeah.
or two because I know they're going to try and take an hour or two
Yeah.
eventually. And this is not really the type of makeup that they can go out and do blocking and come back. You know what I mean?
Like, can I go rehearse really quick?
You're right. I'm like,
This is when a
no.
stand-in comes in handy. So, like, for anyone who doesn't know what a stand-in is, I guess I'll sit and explain it. So if your main actor is doing special effects makeup like this, like he's gonna be a creature, he's gonna be an elf, he's gonna be Grinch, whatever the situation is, your makeup artist is gonna need to spend time on their face, and it's gonna take hours, as you heard, as you see. And in that case, that's when you would bring a stand-in in, and they would be, you know, hopefully the same size or look similar to what the actor looks like. So then when people are blocking, getting the lighting right, it's very similar, and it's not like this like drastic change. You wouldn't want someone who's like, Marlon's 6 feet, right? Or 6'1"?
Yes, 6 foot.
Yeah, he's 6 foot. So it'd be weird if I was his stand-in. I'm 5'5", half his size, like not the same body frame. So if they light me, it's not going to be the same as when he comes and he stands in the light. It's going to be all uneven. So you want your stand-in to match your actor, so that way while your actor's getting their makeup done, the rest of the film crew can still work and get shit done, and we're not wasting time on set. Multitasking.
It's all about planning ahead.
Always planning ahead, yeah. How like, in situations like this, like how hard do you have to plan ahead, or like what's your planning ahead look like?
For a prosthetic makeup,
Mm-hmm.
so that goes all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
Sometimes you are asked to create something yourself, so that becomes a whole
Is that
fabrication
easier or harder
job.
for you? Like, do you like that? Or do you like, oh, just tell me what your vision is?
As
you
far
know?
as labor goes, of course, it's harder, but
Yeah.
I would prefer it to be like this one I sculpted and I created this prosthetic.
Yourself. That
From
was your
my
vision.
brain.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you
this
saw
one
that
you
face
can't
in your head?
purchase.
Saw that face in your sleep.
She saw that
Can't tell.
and woke up and was like, this is the face.
This is the
It
one.
honestly looks like a face that would be in like Lord of the Rings or
Yeah,
something.
that's what I was thinking too.
You know, so the first time I applied it, I painted it a completely different color. I have it on my Instagram website
Yeah.
and all of that.
It's green,
And
right?
It was more, it was green
Yeah.
and had some of like a dead purple color
Mhm.
that's in this one palette. It's called Lividity. I really love it. I think
Yeah.
I mentioned it
Yeah.
on your last one.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I love it so much. It's one of my favorites. It's like a nice vein color.
Yeah.
And when I first started painting that, the first layer was like a very translucent, almost a white color.
Oh.
And I remember someone came over and they said, "Oh, this kind of looks like a White Walker." And I hadn't seen Game of Thrones yet.
Oh, it does.
But then once I did, all these little striations and stuff. I'm like, wow, we kind of had a similar
Yeah.
brainchild.
Yeah.
But since I paint it so differently, you
Mhm.
kind of don't see it.
That's crazy. I
It's
didn't
kind
think
of
it
cool
does.
that
Yeah.
Yeah, now
Yeah,
that
I
you
thought
pointed
that
it
was
out.
Yeah.
neat.
That is
Um,
really cool.
When they first said it, I was like, what? No. I'm like, this is from my brain. And then I watched Game
original
of Thrones like 2 years later when I finally got HBO.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, wait, they weren't being, like, it looked close enough to it. So these so you sculpt it in clay first.
Okay.
So this I was able to use all the little tools and go in and carve out.
Your little like
Add
spatula.
little bits, yeah. You know, making those little like little logs and adding them on and blending it in.
Oh.
And then I took a clay slurry, so you can mix clay with any type of solvent.
Mm-hmm.
You can even use alcohol. It'll just take a long time to get it to
Damn.
dissolve and make a little slurry mush. But you could use like naphtha or lighter fluid, anything like that.
And it's
you
rubbing
take a
alcohol, not
brush.
vodka, right?
Right. Isopropyl. Don't be using
People at home
vodka
are getting
on your makeup.
the vodka out of the cabinet. They're like, I'm
You
gonna
know,
make
it
a mask.
might work. I don't think it'll work, but
We gotta
Wrong.
clarify.
That's
You never
wrong.
know. Honestly, I might not know that. So be at home and be like, okay, maybe it's vodka from the store.
that's all you need. But yeah, you just you take the little slurry and you can get a chip brush or something else
Mhm.
and kind of flick it on, and that's how I got these little tiny dots. I
Yeah.
call them like pimples because they kind of look like little pimples, but it just creates a nice texture.
Creatures get pimples too.
That's right. Yeah, like a little toad
Yeah.
texture is what
Oh,
I was
yeah,
going
that's-
for
mhm.
almost. So I don't.
That makes sense. I feel like
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
if you can
the
see.
creatures are like based off of probably like reptiles, but then like over exaggerated and
Right.
like more like ugly, scary looking. Because even when you watch movies like Lord of the Rings, when they do the sound effects and like for the monsters, the creatures when they're fighting, it's all like animal sounds. It's literally like it'll be like a lion's roar mixed with like a whale like making a sound underwater mixed with like I don't know, like a pig squeal. Like it's literally like all types of different animals, but it makes a creature sound. So it's pretty interesting.
It's so awesome. Yeah, I saw. I think it was a clip on how they did the sounds for the Quiet Place movie.
Yeah.
The one with what's his name?
Um,
John something.
Krasinski.
John,
Yeah,
yes,
Krasinski.
yeah.
My
That was a
brain
good
wanted
movie.
to say Jim, but it's not Jim.
I don't know if I
That's the
saw the
character.
second one. Did you guys see the second one?
No.
No, I didn't even know there was a second.
Is it out?
Yeah, it's been out, I think.
Yeah, wait, I feel like I totally just missed out on that. I saw the first one and I still remember the scene where I think it's Emily Blunt, that's her name, right?
Yeah.
She like steps on the nail.
Oh, yeah. and she
I
can't
felt
make any
I
noise.
felt that one like through the screen. I was like I literally like held my foot. I was like a moment
Because
of
you
silence
can't
for all
even
the feet that stepped on
You
nails.
can't make a noise or you die.
Yeah, or you die.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, we should make a backstory for this creature. Where does he come from? Where should I'm gonna come up with a
From
story.
Glendale.
Yeah, so I guess in the valley, somewhere dry, this monster was born.
And one other thing I'm gonna do is add a little bit of that gel onto the eyebrows too.
Ooh, you're gonna gel those brows.
Just slick them down a tiny bit.
It's accidentally glue.
But if this glue did get on the eyebrows, it washes out. It's totally fine. If
Oh.
you get latex, liquid latex on
Oh,
any
yeah.
part
That
of
sounds
hair,
dangerous.
you cannot wash it out.
So you're
So-
cutting that off?
Yes. And you want to glue down every little bit on the face because if you leave any pocket, especially if you leave the eyebrow area,
Oh yeah.
when you make that expression, it's not going to move
Oh yeah, with the face.
with the mask. Yeah, the mask isn't going to move with your face, so you're not going to have the right expression portrayed on camera or in the shot.
Makes sense.
Yep, so now we're just going to start fitting this onto his face, making sure everything's as aligned as we can get it. This was sculpted for a smaller female head, so we're gonna stretch it a little bit, but we'll make it work.
Make it work. Let me know if you need my help. No, I'll just watch for support.
Let's line up the nostril. Alright, that's a good start.
We're getting
Agree?
there. Sure.
Now we just...
Damn, your ears are so small. That is so funny, the ears. His ears are
They're
like
so
twi-
tiny, right?
They're
I
so
was thinking
cute.
like, I don't know, I was thinking about Shrek at that point, but I didn't want to give him like
Yeah.
It's like
little candle ears.
That scene where he like gets the earwax out of his ear.
Yeah.
He makes a candle.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a good movie though. It's such a good
Classic.
Yeah,
Such
I
a
love
classic.
it.
Isn't there that
Disability.
movie where they're the police officers but they're monsters?
Oh, with Will Smith.
Bright or something like
Right,
that?
yeah. They did kind of look like
They
you, but
did
blue,
kinda-
right?
Yeah. Them like the
That was a good paint job too. I
Yeah.
really liked that makeup. That was nice.
Yeah, like for
They did a
like
good
which
job.
films would you say you're like, wow, like I guess that like their prosthetics like just blows me out of the water. I'm like,
That's
do
what-
special effects people have like a favorite like?
Mostly they do. I just don't. I feel like I need to watch more movies. That's
Honestly,
a
I
big
feel
problem.
Like
I
that too,
get
but it's like,
asked
you don't
like,
have
what are my
time.
favorite horror movies, and I never know.
I
Or I don't. The ones that I like aren't even the ones that have cool
Like
makeups or
prosthetics.
anything.
Yeah.
It's just I like.
the ones that aren't an option.
Yeah. So I never have a good answer for those, but I'm sure any other makeup artist probably would. But
Gluing
I
your
do.
forehead. Just flap.
I love checking out different things online for reference, like
Yeah.
reptile patterns and their scales, their
Oh yeah,
any
scales
animal
would be
prints, anything like that for inspiration,
cool.
or
Mhm.
like rock texture, moss, anything like that can give you good inspiration for a cool creature makeup.
That
How's
looks
that
good.
feel?
Oh shit.
That's
You can
alright.
see it, Yeah.
Nice. Wow, it actually stretches a good amount. too.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
What does it feel like for you, Marlon?
I mean, it just feels like I have something glued to my face. Like, really, it's not anything too crazy.
Like, do you feel it like tightening out? Like, is it like you know when you like wear like a face mask and then like it starts to harden on your skin a little bit to like.
Oh yeah,
what I mean?
not really. It feels more like if you ever get like glue on your hand when you were a kid and peel it, like that kind of feeling where it just feels like there's glue on your skin. But
Got it.
and also, I mean, I'm sure it depends on the prosthetic, but this one, it feels like it's pretty loose or so. So like it doesn't stretch the skin too much or anything.
Right.
Yeah, it should never feel uncomfortable on the skin. It shouldn't feel like your skin is being pulled or tugged in any way.
Yeah.
So if you're ever having this applied and it starts to feel that way, definitely
Say
let,
something.
yeah, let the
He's like,
artist
oh, it's burning my
know.
skin. It's just like letting it be. That'd be so funny.
Like, actually, I'm allergic to latex.
Oh my god! Imagine we didn't know. Has that ever happened? where,
I'm
like-
sure it's happened to someone. I'm sure, but all you can do
'Cause you
is
find out,
send
like-
out an email before the first day of set and let the people know what products you're using that
Yeah.
have common allergens like that.
Yeah.
So that if they do have a reaction, if they didn't know, you did let everyone know and you made sure to the best of your knowledge.
You're like, I tried.
Yeah.
I asked.
Yeah. So obviously,
Which
we
is
can't
like,
perform
you have
allergy
to.
tests.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, it's kind of like, when you're at a restaurant, you're like, do you have any food allergies before you start feeding them stuff? Like, you want to, you want to, like, save your ass, make sure, like, ask the actors, do you have allergies to any products, any skincare products, any makeup, any alcohol stuff, any alcohol-based stuff? Because that could be a
That's a
trigger,
big
too.
one.
Yeah. Damn. And if you are, like, are you just screwed? You just can't do this stuff?
So, if it was a notable actor and they really wanted that person, I'm sure you could use silicone instead. There are many other methods or ways to get a similar look. But it's just about the budget and being able to work around those obstacles.
Yeah, let's talk about
be able
budget.
to.
How much would something like this cost? Like, if somebody wants to recreate this right now at home, like, how much are you looking at
The
spending?
prosthetic?
Mhm.
For the prosthetic, they usually run around anywhere from $350 to like $500, depending
Damn.
on the size.
Shit,
I would say
okay.
this one would probably be like $300,
Wow.
maybe $350. And then with the neck piece, it would be
Even
$500,
more.
$600
Yeah.
for the two together.
Whoa.
But
And you can't wear it more than once? Like, is it a one-time thing? Or can you reapply this?
pretty much it's a one-time thing because the
Damn.
removal
So if you're making
usually
a full feature
destroys it.
movie, like, whoa, you're
But
so
yeah, if you're doing the foam, you're gonna want to have a fresh one every day, just because it makes application easier. I am told there are ways to remove this somehow without ruining the foam latex,
Yeah.
but it would take so long. You wouldn't be able to shoot the next day. That would just not
Crazy.
make sense. It wouldn't be budget effective at that point.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
because what this really is just a giant sponge shaped like a face. So we are
That's a funny way to put it, yeah.
when we use alcohol or whatever solvent you choose to remove the prosthetic, it will soak right up into the sponge, and this will expand and not be the same shape anymore. Like a beauty blender does. If you only get like one part of it wet and it starts to like blow up, that's what happens on the inside of this. Or if he is sweating throughout the day, you're wearing this for 5 hours, 12 hours outside.
Yeah.
You're going to sweat underneath. If there's any part that's not sealed off, like I was saying before, if you don't get glue anywhere, that part will soak up the water throughout the day like a little sponge, and you might see it come through the front if it's bad enough.
Oh, shit.
So it's really important to seal and do all of that
Don't sweat.
as much as possible. Don't sweat ever. No.
Yeah, damn, yeah. It's a lot to think about. A lot of pressure, I feel like. I'm just thinking about how much people are spending, like, on all these, like, Game of Thrones, like, what was their budget for that? I have to look it up. That is insane.
Yeah, we should
Weren't
look
they
that up.
spending like a couple million per episode, like 20 million?
Just on
They have to.
prosthetics? Maybe?
No, not just on, but I mean for the whole episode. But
Just some prosthetics.
Uh-huh.
That would be awesome, but.
Yeah.
Let me know if this feels okay, because we're gonna have to stretch it a little bit.
Okay, let's see.
Yes, but
like a
Too
little
soft.
bit, yeah. It seems
They
like
did
it.
makeup on 70 to 80 people. Prosthetic makeup.
how many? 80?
Yeah,
Wow.
80 people.
Can you tilt forward for me?
And it took more than 15 hours a day to apply prosthetics, remove them, and stand by for necessary fixes on set. Dude, could you do this for 15 hours, Marlon?
If I was getting paid.
In quotes, somebody said, "The workload has had us in tears at times." Oh no, that's so sad.
Got me
Our
crying
team would
on
work
set.
in shifts and try to grab naps whenever possible. Yeah, I mean, they had some great prosthetics. I can't even imagine. Damn, the decline that is for specifics on the budget for that. But it was reported the total cost for its final season, $15 million per episode.
Yeah.
And it started as $6 million per episode in the beginning.
Wow.
I mean, a big chunk of that has to be like prosthetics, because isn't a lot of it green screen too? Like, I mean, obviously they're spending a lot of money on locations and stuff too, but
Yeah.
it is green screen too. So I feel like majority of their budget had to have gone to makeup and paying the actors and food, food on set. Just for
so
80,
much food, right?
80
so many
people, just the creatures, and that's not even like all the main
80
characters.
creatures.
80 creatures, and they're probably hungry. They eat a lot.
That's why they're the creatures.
What would you eat if you were a creature, man? Like what?
If I was this creature?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? What did you think? you would eat?
Worms and cactus.
Worms and cactus?
Yeah, probably. Like big worms, though.
So here's another thing is troubleshooting when you have a prosthetic that's not sculpted to fit the actor or the talent. You have to kind of figure out if this happens on set, you're gonna figure out how to make it work, you know?
Yeah.
Like
What would you do?
choice. So you could have, which I don't have with me, but we could use little pieces of bald cap. You can create little foam blender pieces,
Oh,
and
wow.
it'll be like a little sheet of fake skin that you can kind of maybe cut and paste if you need to in certain places and fill that gap. Just see what we can do. If not, and it is really too tight because we don't want to make him feel uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
then we'll try and kind of fake it with paint and just leave this part under his brows open
Yeah.
and just kind of contour and color it.
That makes sense. You got some extra like skin flap in the back too. You could cut off and use.
Yeah, is this business in the front?
I love it. Yeah, your mouth looks good too because it's all like glued on. I feel like you're making great time. Like I feel like it's not even taking that long. Already like have the face on.
Already applied.
That's pretty impressive. Like you know you can work well under pressure and time constraints. So
This part is pretty quick once you do it a few times and you kind of like know what areas you can get kind of like hiccup on.
mm-hmm.
But goes pretty quick if you pre-paint beforehand.
Is that like
you
a common
don't.
thing to do, like to pre-paint before set? And are
I
you getting
like
paid for that,
to.
like on set? Because like obviously, like you're still putting in the time, but you're doing it before set. So it's like, are you gonna get paid for that if you do it at home?
So yeah, so you can consider it a fabrication day if you're going to be working on it for X amount of hours. I would say yes, because if you're doing this for a shoot, you're probably going to do more than one of these guys.
Yeah, that
if
makes
you're
sense.
just doing
fabrication day. That's what it's called.
I wouldn't, just because this only took like 30 minutes to paint,
Yeah.
so I probably wouldn't charge someone for that. But if I was doing multiple and it was an all-day thing, absolutely,
Yeah.
that would be considered a day of pay.
Yeah, it has to because you're putting that time. Like you're not doing it on set, but you're taking that time still to do it at home, so you can save time on set, which I feel like is smart in your head.
That's another thing is you really want to be able to do this as quickly as you can because it does take so much time, and you don't want the actor to have to sit while you're painting through all of that either.
They're just watching you paint. I'd be like stressed. I'd be like, don't watch me paint. I'd be like, can you go like eat crafties or something?
Put cucumbers on their eyes.
Yeah.
Enjoy the oasis.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, people probably listen to AirPods, but I'm like, no, you can't because your ears are latex shut.
You know, when I was in school, AirPods weren't out yet.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, well, I don't think they were out. I didn't have a pair yet. I remember when I was getting the prosthetic makeup applied to me, when my partner in school was doing it to me,
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, I wish I could have just
Listen
got
to
my headphones
music.
in. And if you had wireless ones, like,
You're
just have to keep
really
them
just
in
committed.
all day.
Like you're stuck there in the chair. Like, you know, you want to have like either a good relationship with the makeup artist, I feel like, as an actor, because you're just kind of like, fuck, I'm either gonna have to sit here and talk to them, or it's gonna be a silent 2 hours. Or unless, I guess you can meditate. I don't know.
And that's another thing is sometimes they do like just being quiet through this. You can like watch the talent. They like flip a switch and turn into the monster at some point, and you can see it happen because they'll be looking at themselves in the mirror.
Oh,
while it
you like
happens.
see it? Oh, yeah.
Oh, you see at some point they feel
I'm a monster.
they feel the makeup.
Yeah.
And it brings it all together. That's
Yeah.
my favorite part.
Yeah, like being able to see the transformation and then actually see it in their face of them like transforming into that character. That must be super interesting to see, actually.
Yeah, and just knowing like if this helps you get into character too, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like
I feel like I would be like going over my lines in my head. I'd be like, okay, like I think that's honestly why I didn't like acting as much, because I'm like, oh, like you have to remember so many lines and like you know, you have to stick to exactly what it's written out, and then I don't know, you fuck up and everyone's watching you. It's like not my thing.
I know.
I like behind the camera is my thing.
That's what I say too. Behind the camera is where I want to be.
Remember when we were working, the guy was like, "You're too pretty to not be in front of the camera." I feel like that's like the most common pickup line on film sets, or like, yeah, it must be. Be a film set.
I thought you were one of the main actresses. Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
That's so funny.
I am sure with my.
It's never a dull moment. Even on set, you can get hit on, and people will try. So.
Nowhere is safe.
Nowhere, literally nowhere is safe.
No. Yeah, you're really not safe.
You've been like you could be like literally as a monster, and then you like go out to crafties and like, damn, that monster's fine.
Some people do want to wear their makeups home to their partner.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
I would just be worried about like, how do I get this off? Like, you know?
Right.
Like
So
I feel like I would
always
just
my
start
big
pulling
warning
off.
to them. I'm like, are you sure? Because you're gonna have to deal with it, and
Yeah.
I would rather take it off for you and not have you mad at me.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting them know. But then they really want to wear it home, and they say, I don't care.
I actually did that once too, but it wasn't like a prosthetic. It was like when I was still in school. We had to do like a little like workshop, and I had like basically like a cut on my face and like some blood. And for some reason, I wanted to also like keep it and just be like, yeah, like I just want to drive around with this like a psycho.
I'm not a normal girl.
Yeah, I'm not a normal. Imagine going grocery shop, dude. Honestly, Marlon, you should get ramen with us like this. Just act like nothing, and then people will look at you weird, and you just don't like. You're like, what?
You think you could
I think so.
act like it wasn't on your face in public?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't feel that weird.
Yeah.
After kissing or something, it's like you have to wipe off the smeared stuff, reapply the makeup all here, and then do the lips. And I feel like people forget that sometimes too.
That's wild. Does it feel like claustrophobic for you at all, Marlon? Like I feel like I don't know if I would be a good candidate for this kind of stuff, because I'm like, I do get claustrophobic, so I'm like, I feel like if I feel like I can't breathe.
Yeah, but I would say that because my mouth is open still, like, or like it's not covered by anything, it's not really that big a deal. But I guess I could see how if your like whole face, including your lips and your mouth and everything, is completely covered, it would kind of be like uncomfortable.
You could start overthinking it.
Yeah, or like you worry that you're gonna eat it or something.
An issue. Sometimes you don't know that you're claustrophobic until
you're doing it.
Yeah, or if you're
Well, I
doing
already
a
know,
life
so I'm
task. Yeah, I'm not a YouTuber, guys, so
And it's different from like a makeup tutorial, like you know, like you're dealing with glue and like I mean, when you do makeup, you deal with glue like with eyelashes and stuff like that. But like this is like glue by the eyes, glue by the mouth, glue by the nose. I can only imagine like what it would be like dealing with a diva actor or actress and having to do this. Like, oh my god, they'd be like, it's too tight.
I'm just waiting for the day it happens. It's gonna be.
I feel like it's part of the
It's gonna be a rough day
like,
for
it's part
me.
of the industry. Like I feel like you can't always have like such a smooth like supporting actor that it's like yeah it's cool, do whatever. Like I feel like you're gonna
it's not an if, it's a when, right?
Yeah, it's gonna like the higher up you go, the more people you deal with, the bigger the sets and the productions get. You're gonna get those divas. Like it's gonna happen. If they make a big deal about getting COVID tested for 5 minutes, it's not even a 5-minute COVID test. Like if they're already like bitching about like a 30-second swab, I think they would be like bitching at 3 hours of prosthetics.
1,000%.
You know what I mean? Like,
are you sure this is all proof?
yeah, like, are you sure this is
Look up
safe?
one more time.
I can just like see it happening already. Just from working on different sets together, like, you know, you can tell like people who have been doing this for a long time, they have like almost like less patience. They're like, you kind of have to like just be like quick and in and out of things, which is not always what we're used to, especially working more independent stuff. You know, you have a little bit more time. You still have that time constraint of like, okay, get it done in like an hour or two. Because like it happened to you on Emery Woods. You got like, you had a time constraint, right? Like when you did the airbrush.
Right. Yes. At first we had.
How long did they say you were going to have? Yeah.
It was an hour under what we originally planned. But then I actually ended up getting the hour back.
Oh.
They were doing something else. They ended up becoming busy.
Ah.
And I was able to get that time back, which was nice.
That
But
makes
yeah, I
sense.
was rushing at first.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember when they were like, "You're not gonna have enough time to do this."
Right.
Oh my god, that's so stressful. Because I can already like when I direct and they already like we're not gonna have time for this like extra shot. I'm like, no, you know, like
Right. It's
I'm like,
an
no,
instant
don't do
downer.
this to me. Yeah,
Mhm.
of course, because you're like expecting it, and then it gets taken away from you, and you're like, what? Like no, but you have to just like be able to adapt. Honestly, like
Yeah.
it's such a teamwork. It's such a team job, so you can't be like, no, like I'm hiring an actor, you can't do this, because then it's gonna delay the whole. It's like a domino effect.
Exactly.
If one department's delayed, it kind of delays like all of it. So it's best to kind of.
I had a situation a few months ago. They had prosthetics from somewhere else that I was to apply on set, and
is that
I had
common
no
where
way
they
of-
supply and you don't see it?
no, I think their original artist fell through, and I was
That sucks.
so I was a last minute person to come on in.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't made aware of the what the material was made out of or anything beforehand.
Yeah.
It was just a, hey, are you available tomorrow type situation. Or I don't think it was the next day, but
Yeah.
pretty close.
Wow.
And that day we get whoever they were supposed to be getting the prosthetics from
Mm-hmm.
wasn't communicating very well, and we didn't get them until
That's another
the
thing.
night
Communication. You have to have that on set.
Before. That's
you can't
the
just
most
be like,
important.
no one's
It
gonna be able to
really
read your
is.
mind, especially when it comes to prosthetic makeup. Like how's
And they
anyone
don't
gonna
know. Even things you think they know, they don't. You have to just let
They
people
don't know.
Just let people know, and they will most of the time be understanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't get those prosthetics until the night before.
Oh damn! So
And
they really
they
just
were-
waited last minute.
Yeah, I went to pre-paint them, and they were made out of gelatin, which I thought initially, because
Yeah.
we were in a studio space that
Yeah.
was kind of, it was like one of the ones downtown that it's like a giant empty warehouse type of situation.
Yeah.
And it was the middle, I want to say it was June or July. It was at some point during the summer.
Whoa.
So, I thought, oh no, gelatin, heat, that's gonna
Oh
melt.
yeah. I didn't even think
So
about
gelatin prosthetics are a really good cheap alternative, but they melt. They melt in the heat.
melt.
So just you need to know that.
You're like in the middle of a scene, like in the desert. This creature's like being born or some shit. He's like coming out of this thing, and then it just like melts on his face
it's
because
just dripping
the
off.
blazing hot sun is just melting it up. That would suck. Imagine that. Oh my god. What
It happened.
Oh, it
It
did.
happened,
No, it
The
happened.
next day, well, that night, I called as soon as I saw what they were, and I just let them know
Yeah.
it might be an issue. I'm just going back and forth between doing the packs.
Uh-huh.
And once you do that layer of packs
Yeah.
over the edge, you can kind of see where like there's
Yeah.
an edge rolled here.
Right.
There's a gap where it ripped into the foam there that has to be filled, and it just kind of shows you where you need to work on.
That makes sense.
Another good thing is having like a headlamp or even your phone light
Mm-hmm.
and just checking at different
Angles,
angles
lights. Yeah.
where you can see a ledge, because sometimes when you're in the makeup trailer or wherever you're doing
Yeah.
makeup that day,
Yeah.
it'll look great, but then you take it in front of the camera and you see little
Yeah, because
issues if
because
you don't
cameras
check all
shoot
the
so
angles.
clear too. It's like they're shooting 4K. Sometimes they're trying to be bougie and shoot 8K. It's like you're gonna see everything. You're gonna see every little fault line, every little wrinkle.
Yeah.
There's that show on Netflix where they do that.
Oh, what's it called? Like Masked? No.
Something like where it's like special effects and
Yeah.
makeup artists and they compete.
What was that called? Beast? No.
Yeah, they have a few of them now.
That would actually be. They should do more seasons of that because that's like really cool to see and unique.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, when would you? You don't see that, especially when you're not in the film industry. I feel like you don't like come across this all the time, seeing how this stuff
Like
is
the
being
real
made.
work behind
yeah.
it, yeah.
Especially from scratch.
And being even as a
I didn't even
competitor,
know, yeah.
you'll be able to use your creativity more than you can sometimes on set.
Yeah.
Right.
They do.
Sometimes
I
they
like
have
how, and
that
they do the
creative
time
freedom.
constraints too. They're like, okay, you have like 1 hour to create this look, and then
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It makes them a better artist too after that, I'm sure.
do you work better under pressure, or do you feel like you work better like just,
Under pressure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
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 That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder.
when
I
the
don't know if I
best
work
work
better under
seems
pressure. I
to
wonder,
come
but I feel like I guess I am working under pressure. I just don't even really realize.
You're right. The second I'm there, I'm under pressure.
Yeah. You're like, I'm stressed. I just arrived. I mean, would you say we look alike? A lot of people say I look more like my mom. He looks more like our dad. Twins. We actually do get that sometimes. People are like, oh, you guys are like twins, even though I'm 6 years older.
Aw, that's cute.
But only when I wear the orc makeup.
He's like, how did I end up here?
Yeah, literally. That's what I was
This
thinking. It's
moment.
like, how did I end up here, like, in this chair with this monster makeup on?
Yeah, did she have to force you, or were you
No,
like,
he was
yeah.
actually totally down.
Nice.
Well,
Unless-
at first she was like, I don't want to be a monster. Can you do it? And I was like, all right.
That's true. It would have been kind
Yeah,
of
I'm like,
impossible
I would
to
have just
record.
been like, this is going to be a silent episode of you watching Victoria apply prosthetics to me, which we could have done, and we kind of did in, like, episode, oh my god, was it episode 47? I think it was episode 47, where we did the monster spin. She was explaining as she was doing it, but in this situation, I don't think I would have been able to do that as much, so we definitely needed a model. And it's also nice for me to be able to see like how it goes down, because set I'm usually directing, so I'm not able to like hang out in the makeup room unless I'm doing wardrobe and really be like there step by step. It's usually like, all right, like you have an hour, and then I come and see the finished product and we start acting. So
What do
I
you
gotta be
do
like,
if you
what?
find a voodoo doll of yourself with your hair in it?
Alright, yeah.
Yeah, because
I know, I think there's something you're supposed to do if
Yeah.
that happens.
Stab.
There are step by step how to like
I
make
was
sure
about to
that
say
you're not
stab it, but I was
cursed.
like, no, because then you kill yourself.
No, opposite.
I would have already died. Oh no. I'm like,
Look up
nobody make a voodoo doll of me, please. I'm actually curious about that. Like, where did that even all come from? If you practice voodooism,
Nothing's pulling.
I don't know if that's the right word, but if you do, let us know. How does the voodoo doll work?
we're interested.
And does it only work for negative stuff? Ooh, what are we putting on now?
Just a little powder. So I just glued down by his eyes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna powder that glue
Mm-hmm.
so that his eyelashes don't get stuck to the glue. We'll take a fluffy brush and close and get rid of the excess.
Gorgeous.
So since that's really normally the prosthetic is
Yeah.
not that close to the corners of the eyes,
Uh-huh.
so we're not gonna really
Yeah.
glue down
Yeah.
as far as we normally would, because you just can't. There just isn't
Right.
skin there that I
Yeah.
can get to. But normally, yeah, you glue all the way around, and then you blend the edges the same way as I did around the rest of the thing.
That makes sense.
And then I would also normally go in for this prosthetic.
Mm-hmm.
I did a wrinkle stipple on the under eyes to
Yeah.
create more of like a. It kind of just makes like old man wrinkles, but tie in that look with the eyelids. Just kind of make it look like a part of the mask.
Right.
But we can't do that. We don't have enough lid space. So we'll skip that for today and
That is
just color it a little darker.
Mm-hmm.
That improv.
Woohoo.
Woohoo.
Gotta work with what you got. And then you literally just like blending colors, like you're doing orange and
Like
white.
painting.
Yeah, literally like painting.
Yeah. Yep. Just get a good
I feel like you
face
have to know your
tone.
color palette. If you don't, then
Hmm.
you're like, what
Yep.
color makes
Always
this?
keep a color wheel
Yeah.
in your kit. You never know when you're gonna need it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just good to check.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna add a little dash of a tanner skin tone, a
Mhm.
little more orange. Probably just do this with an airbrush.
Oh yeah,
Because
it's like
it
takes
takes
way
2
less.
seconds.
Yeah, versus
But-
hand doing it.
I figured
But we
since
love
we're
the
doing it on
determination.
camera, yeah, it might be nice to see the process.
Yeah.
'Cause this part you're using like a thick cream makeup, and it just takes some time to build the opacity.
It's almost like a foundation. Like you have to blend it nicely. It doesn't look like blotchy.
Yeah, it looks cute right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very scary when it's orange. Just carry it down as far as, I figured maybe the cape will be like right here.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot how it felt without the bold cap and the prosthetic now.
I don't even know who
It's
I am
it's crazy
anymore.
though, like how much makeup can add just like putting it by the eyelids. Like it goes from looking like, oh, it's like your skin underneath to like, no, this is his face. Like it's blending in nicely.
He is the demon.
Literally every little step adds so much, I feel like. And you don't see, you wouldn't know this or realize this when, like, if you're not watching it, you would just think like, oh, like, okay, it's like a prosthetic mask on there and she glued it on. Like, that's like what I would assume if I didn't know.
Right.
But there's so many like layers to it and things that you, like steps that you have to do, and you have to let it dry too. You have to think about like the time it needs to dry, because if it's wet, it's gonna be slipping off.
Yeah, always make sure. Another good thing is with this glue, this prosthetic adhesive doesn't dry if it's sealed in. So with foam latex, I guess technically it would at some point because it's like a sponge, so it's getting air to it.
Yeah.
But if you're using this glue to glue on silicone,
Yeah.
you can't just put the glue on and slap it right on.
Yeah.
You have to use it as a contact adhesive and put it on the skin, and then the prosthetic. Let them both dry, and then stick the glue sides together. And that's how you make sure.
And that's how you make sure it sticks.
It sticks, and it's a little quicker that way. You have to keep double checking, and will always be a spot that you miss if you don't. Once you have it cut pretty short, this short,
Oh wow, yeah, you really cut it.
you can use it for the alcohol paints. So you'll make whatever color you need and pick it up with this brush. Make sure it's pretty translucent with the 99.
Yeah.
And then you can splatter it on, and it makes all those little speckles. That's what helps to make his like pattern come alive too. And that's what really makes the coloring of it look right.
Yeah.
Even when I was pre-painting this, I only used 2 or 3. I used 3 colors. I used this one, and then 2 darker ones.
Yeah.
And I stipple it on with the sponge, and then this is what makes everything come together and look alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want it to look more 3-dimensional than it is, and you're trying to like fake translucency where there is none.
Got it.
So the last part of this makeup, we're gonna drip some of the brown.
How exactly how does this work?
Tilt your head back, and I'm gonna just drip some in. You swish it in your mouth, like mouthwash swish, and then just let it go.
I can't tell if it's coming out. So no. I was under the impression it's gonna be mint flavor.
Is it not?
It tastes like chocolate. I think.
Oh,
It's
so maybe that one's a different flavor.
Sweet vanilla mint.
Yeah, oh, it tastes like vanilla. That's what it is. Vanilla extract is
That makes
exactly what it
sense.
tastes like.
Almost, he was like,
You know,
sounds
I
like
was
it's
going
not.
to say that, but then I wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't coming out. I was
Yeah,
like,
this one smells very vanilla.
It tastes like straight up like how it smells. It's kind of gross, but.
Yeah, this one's like.
Oh, this looks scary now with my teeth. Look at
I
it.
should say him. All right, now about 2 hours later, we got our creature done. We got layered up. He's detailed. He's like all orange. We got a little cape. He's feeling in character. Anything you want to say before we exit out?
It isn't easy being a gremlin, but thanks to Victoria's excellent work, here I am.
Here he is. Tune out.
How did it come out?
Okay. Give me some teeth.
Not too shabby.
You see the details on your face. Look at that. Every little line and the eyeshadow. Sweet. Good. Nice.